Hey everyone, welcome to Tent Talk. This is a show all about farmers markets. Whether you're a farmers market manager, a new or experienced farmer or food producer selling at farmers markets, this is the podcast for you. On today's episode of Tent Talk, it's all about back to school for grown-ups. We'll talk about the opportunities for education coming up for farmers market participants. I am Brijet Myers. I'm one of your hosts on Tent Talk, and I have spent many years as an on-site farmers market manager, and I've done it all from pulling permits to social media marketing, and I also help coordinate Intense, the farmers market conference.
And I'm Catt White, Director of San Diego Markets, still an active farmers market manager here in Southern California, and founder of Intense, the farmers market conference, and Farmers Market Pros offering education throughout the year.
We are on an education kick.
We are.
Welcome back to Tent Talk, everybody. It's back to school time this time of year, and that means people are establishing new patterns. The big kids are off to college. Little kids have been delivered to new classrooms. If you don't have kids, you're still dealing with all that back to school hubbub. Maybe your market's busier or doing some special events at your market. So back to school affects us all.
It does affect us all. Mm-hmm. Actually, we see, I think, a little bit of a dip sometimes at the markets right in the first part of September.
Yeah.
First part of September to maybe the middle. I've had vendors go, oh my gosh, it's slow all of a sudden. And then they look back, the ones that have been there for a while, and say, oh, you know what? It's always a little bit off this time of year because people are changing up their patterns. In our case, some of the visitors from Arizona and Texas and those kind of places have left, and the Canadians haven't arrived yet.
Yeah, it's a little kind of different, like people around your market or their shopping patterns. I know for me, my daughter just went off to college. Oh. She's a freshman. So she's, I did the whole move-in thing, and our routine just got real jumbled. So she moved in, and then I have a fifth grader this year, and my youngest is still in preschool this year. So anyways, we had back to school night and all that stuff, and all my shopping is, I have no groceries in my house, and it's like, just my pattern is off for a couple weeks as we adjust, and then
I feel like there's a really good little burst after that as people get back into their routine, and they remember, oh yeah, I want to put healthy stuff in the kids' lunches, and
meal prepping.
I want to get back to meal prepping because I'm busy, so I'm going to really do my shopping list and stock up and cook.
Yeah, and just like the beginning of the year, I know that my friends and I talk about this all the time. It feels kind of like January to us because we're like, we want to focus on eating healthy and doing meal prep and doing all the right kind of shopping that we want to do right now before holiday season hits, before we know we're going to be eating cookies and just crazy staying up late and like not eating properly. So it's like, it feels almost like the start of a new year, which is a busy time at farmers markets as well.
Right. Because people make those healthy resolutions. Yeah. I feel like I do resolution. Well, my birthday's in the fall too, but I always feel like Happy New Year for me is really more September, October. That's when I kind of start this new year, maybe because I had kids in school for so long.
Yeah.
But that's when I'm sort of evaluating how this year go. I'm making my resolutions. I'm making new plans.
For sure. So as a business, as a farmers market business, it's a great opportunity for us to kind of pitch new ideas to shoppers, help them, give them recipe cards, give them shopping tips, remind them of our schedule. Like, remember, you can shop every Tuesday. You can shop to, pick up the kids from school and come here. Or, tell our vendors, how can you package your items? Or how can you put baskets together with your fruits and veggies that kind of appeal to people making, quote, resolutions or entering a new routine cycle.
I think it's really important this time of year, too, to do what you're mentioning there, which is keep reminding people where you are.
Yeah.
I've gone through this little revelation this last week because a farmer that I followed for a long time on Instagram, I never knew he was at farmers markets. I followed him because he does really cool permaculture stuff and he's a really good writer. And so I've been following him for a while, but I was flipping through just kind of reviewing stuff and went, wait a minute, there's a picture of him in a tent. And he's making one little comment about being at the farmers markets. But in literally years that I've followed him, I've never seen a post about farmers markets. It's always posts about the farm. So it's just, and then I started looking at other people, food makers and farmers that I know are at markets. And I'm surprised how many people take a lot of pictures of their products and they might take a picture of their kitchen, but they're never taking pictures in the tent. And so right now when people's schedules are changing up, it's even more important. Be sure that you're posting about your markets and tagging the markets that you're in so people know where to find you. Even if they love you, remind them what day you're where so that they can come find you and buy what you're selling.
Yeah, because people's calendars are all screwed up, so you need to really be on reminder mode and create that visual of the experience of your business. A close-up of your product is always beautiful and shows what you have to sell, but when you show a picture of you in your tent, or you handing your produce or your granola or whatever to your market, or a market manager, when you show people walking through your market, you are conveying the visual of the experience you'll get when you come to the market. So
Right.
as a seller, get that experience out there. Remind people that you are at a farmer's market and
Yeah,
they should come
exactly.
out and buy your
Exactly.
product there.
It's like Charlotte Smith, who always speaks at our conference,
Yeah.
and teaches, farm marketing from the heart and such. She always talks about your website shouldn't be about you.
Yeah.
People don't really care what you do to farm or how you make your pickles.
Yeah.
What they care about is how's it going to affect them.
Yep.
You
What
know,
are they going to get out of
everybody,
it?
What's in it for me, that old acronym. So you really need to focus on how's it going to affect your shopper. How's it going to make them have better tasting meals? How's it going to make them healthier? How's it going to let them feed their kids better stuff?
Exactly. Yeah. Show
so-
them what you can do for them.
Exactly.
And where you are so they can go get that stuff from you and take it home.
Exactly right.
And have that experience.
I think our next episode actually is somebody who's been doing really good social media work for the farmers markets in Nova Scotia. So
yeah.
coming up soon, so we'll really dig into that social media thing. But that's just was kind of top of mind for me this week when I all of a sudden realized some of my favorite folks are actually at farmers markets. They're just keeping it a secret.
Yeah. And just one of our farmers just started using his social media. I think he has someone that's helping him, people that work at the farmer's market with him. And I'm finally able to just share his posts. I usually go take pictures of his stuff at the market, take pictures of him, his staff. But now he's posting his own pictures, so I'm just
So much
sharing it to
easier.
our Instagram stories and all that stuff, and it's making it a lot easier as a market manager. So if you are a vendor or a farmer at a farmer's market and you want your items to be seen in front of all the followers that your market manager has on their page, post some great content for them, because it's way easier for me to just share something than to create something. I like to mix it up and have both. I don't like to constantly just share, but give them something to do. So
Yeah, give us something to work with.
Rodney Kawano, thank you for getting it together and
Right.
posting beautiful pictures of baskets of your raspberries at the market, because I'm just sharing that.
Well, and there's all those cool moms that do social media stuff on what they're cooking.
Yeah.
If you make it easy for them to refer back to you and tag you, so much better. Okay, so
Excellent.
we're
Okay,
having a
tangent.
podcast that's entirely different from what we planned today. We're jumping
We're just
all over
really
the
excited.
next podcast, but yes. Anyway,
It's great.
things to remember while you're educating yourself.
Yeah.
Educate yourself about social media.
Exactly.
How to make it work for you.
Yes. So wrapping in with all sorts of educational topics. So what do we have coming up? Lots of different conferences are going on for farmers market folk.
There are a lot of conference, a lot of education stuff. So it's not just your kids that should be learning stuff every year. We all like to learn. That's the more we learn, the better our businesses are, and it's fun too. I just like to learn new stuff, whether it's from other market managers and other vendors, or if it's in an organized class. But there's a lot of stuff coming up.
Yep.
The 2019 National Direct Agricultural Marketing Summit. That's a mouthful. I thought our conference had a long name. This is the second year they've done this. It's actually USDA's Agriculture Marketing Service that does this. And it says it's focused on direct agricultural marketing. Now, to people in our world, that means farmers markets. Honestly, the feedback I got from last year's folks that attended this event, I missed it last year, I'm going to miss it again this year actually, is that it's talking about direct marketing somewhat in terms of farmers markets, but a lot in terms of selling direct to grocery stores and direct to schools and that kind of thing. So there's some of that. There is also some information on farmers markets. Farmers Market Coalition is going to be there, and they're a little bit of a presenting partner on this conference, so they'll make sure that there's good information there about farmers markets and making direct sales to customers at markets and what market managers can do to make things work smoothly. So that'll be happening too. So that's in Chicago. Well, it's in Rosemont, which is pretty much, if you're in Rosemont, you look across the street to O'Hare. So it's in Chicago. And that's coming up October 7th through 9th, so that's right away. So if you want to go to that in conference terms, you want to sign up soon.
Yeah, that sounds
That
like
one's
great.
coming up. And then there's a lot of associations that'll be putting their conferences on. A lot of that happens in the winter and in the early part of the year because I think a lot of those associations are serving markets that may be closed for the winter that are seasonal.
Yeah.
So it's a good time for their managers and participants to get away and go to conferences. So those are just starting to ramp up. And the next one up is the Virginia Farmers Market Association Conference. And that's a big one. They've got a lot of members back there. I think when they say Virginia, they mean Virginia, and they get some folks from Maryland and D.C. and that cover those markets back there. There's a lot of people in that area that land at markets in Virginia, even though they're out in the suburbs of Maryland and surrounding states. But I think they get a lot of people. That's in November 13th through 15th in Staunton, Virginia. Looks like some great topics this year. They don't have their final schedule up, but they've got a pretty good outline there. And if you're a farmer's market manager or a farmer back east, you might want to go to this. Now, I will say that most of these conferences are for farmers market managers and farmers. They tend to do a lot of farming technique at these kind of conferences. You don't really see, this is really for the certified part of the markets in most of these cases, so you're not going to see a lot of food makers there. That's unusual at Farm Bureau conferences or Farmers Market Association conferences. They tend to be pretty focused on the farmers, and then a track for farmers market managers, not so much for the food makers that are in that the other part of the market.
Yeah, that's always like a little bit lacking at those conferences.
Yeah, it's just not their shtick.
Yeah, it's just not where they are going, not the direction that they take their conference. Yeah.
Right. So the food makers usually have to go out to, Good Food Awards or a different kind of conference to get their stuff.
Or Intense, the farmers market conference.
Yeah, that's actually, one of the reasons that we started Intense and designed it the way we did was to make it for all the people that are in farmers markets. Yep. It's not about farming. It's about selling your things at farmers markets, and that includes the food makers as well as the farmers and the market managers. So,
more as a whole. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. What else we got going on?
Well, Community Food Systems Conference is coming up in December, and that is a partnership between the Georgia Farmers Market Association, who did a really good conference themselves 2 years ago, and they're partnering with New Entry Sustainable Farming Project. That conference tends to be focused on food justice, food access, how you work in the social justice realm to make sure that healthy food gets to people in all income stratas. So that's kind of a big deal back there. As part of that this year, I think they're focusing on sustainable agriculture and probably some urban agriculture, land that's not being utilized as well as it could be in terms of actually growing food and getting food to the people that need it. So they do some cool things back there. When I was there 2 years ago in Savannah for a different conference, but spent a lot of time with the Georgia Farmers Market Association folks and with Sadrina Jalal, who spoke at our conference, who's their executive director.
Oh, yeah.
They had a lot of really cool stuff, like a farmer's market that was on an old refurbished school bus that they took out to neighborhoods for folks that didn't have the transportation to get to the organized farmer's market, that kind of thing. So they do some real creative stuff there. I'm sure this is going to be a great conference. It's December 9th through 11th in Savannah. So if you're in the South, if you're back east, if you want to make a trip to a really, really pretty city, that conference in Savannah will be cool, I'm sure.
Yeah. And Sadrina's great. She was also on our Tent Talk podcast.
Oh, that's right. She's
year.
been on our podcast. Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. We're going to hope to get her back out to the conference coming up in February, so that'd be cool. Also in December, OSU, Oklahoma State University, in, I think it's in Edmonds. I'm sorry, that's not in my notes, but Oklahoma State University near Oklahoma City has a farmers market manager certification program where you do a certain number of online classes and then you do 3 face-to-face classes at the university, and it's to certify market managers in Oklahoma. And, market manager certification has been a big topic off and on for maybe the last 7 or 8 years. We're going to talk about that at the Intense, the Farmers Market Conference in February. We're going to have a whole session that's on the idea of market manager certification, if it makes sense, who's already providing it. It's coming from a lot of different directions right now, and a lot of times it's regional, which makes sense because the agriculture and health department laws tend to be really different from one regional area to the next, so it kind of makes sense to put it on a statewide basis. Farmers Market Coalition, I don't know, it might be interesting to see them get involved on an overriding certification process that would help everybody that's in the market manager space, so that's going to be interesting. But this OSU one, this is the second year they've done it. They're doing, I think, less face-to-face this year than last time, so maybe they're thinking that that's easier for market managers. But it'll be interesting to see. I think that's going to be a good program for people. There's so many regulations involved with managing markets, as we in this industry know. Nobody else knows that.
We well know.
I was at a party on Sunday, and somebody said, I was talking about being a farmer's market manager, and she goes, "What's that even about? Why would you need to manage a farmer's market? People just come up and set up and sell their stuff, right?" No, they don't.
People are so funny. That happens. Oh, your market's on Saturday? What do you do the rest of the week?
Yeah, I get a lot of that, too.
I work 12 hours a day the rest of the week.
It's so funny.
It's so
People have no
funny.
idea.
I
Markets are
know.
so pretty, and they're intense, and they've got fruits and vegetables, and it's a good place to hang out and take selfies, but they don't just magically happen.
Well, it's confusing, I think, because it's comprised of a bunch of people that own their own business as well.
Right.
So they think like, oh, don't these people just talk to each other and figure it out? There's already lots of people there that are working the market. So I think the concept of somebody overall managing them doesn't compute with a lot of people. But yeah it's always funny.
It'll be in the book. Stay tuned. EcoFarm.
Yeah.
EcoFarm, we actually partner with. We're one of their sponsors. They're one of our sponsors.
Love them.
They're amazing. And this is their 40th year. So their 40th conference is coming up in January.
Oh my gosh.
That's a long time.
One day we'll have our 40th.
That's right.
36 more years.
36 years to go. Counting it down.
Hang on there.
It's coming. So they're January 22nd to 25th. They're at the Asilomar Conference Retreat Center in Pacific Grove, California. It is... Okay, if you're not an organic farmer, there's no good excuse to go to this conference, but go anyway, because this retreat center, the place where they hold this, it's right on the ocean. It's a beautiful old craftsman style, kind of Frank Lloyd Wright Taliesin-ish group of buildings.
Yeah.
When I was there this last January, walking from one session to another, I was slightly lost. It is a big retreat center. It's way spread out. There's a lot of woods and things that are scattered about in between your session locations. And I'm walking along and I look over and there's 4 gigantic deer, a buck and 3 does that are just sort of cruising along next to me, just chilling, we're sharing the path. It was so crazy. It was so pretty. But visiting Asilomar is one good reason to go to EcoFarm.
Yeah.
But the other thing is they talk a lot about organic growing methods, how to deal with new regulations on that. They do cover some market management issues, a little bit, protocols and legislation coming down the pike and that kind of thing. It really is for farmers more than for any other group, but it's a really big group. There's people that plan their whole year around making sure they're at EcoFarm. So if you can do it, that is a cool time.
Yeah.
And that's right before Intense, the Farmers Market Conference.
That's right.
Also coming up.
So come to SoCal and just hang out.
Well, actually, this is...
2 weeks before, right?
Well, and EcoFarm is in Northern California, which, of course, California being the size it is, it's kind of like saying, come to Ohio and hang out in Tennessee while you're there. So, we're so big. We're so big and spread out.
Didn't we just try to figure this out with going to Hawaii? We're like, oh, we'll just go to this island and then
Pop over to that market.
island. We're like, oh, it's like a full flight, like $250 flight to like jump islands. We did not realize that. We're like, we'll just take a sailboat, sail between the islands.
There we go. That'd be a fun idea.
Not quite.
Like that girl that just sailed to...
That's right.
Between Europe and here.
I guess you could sail from Northern California down to Southern California.
You could. You could. It would take you a while. You might miss Intense the Farmers Market Conference while you're sailing.
We're farmers market people, and we don't have that kind of time, actually.
Right?
So
Exactly.
Yeah, but
so the Farmers Market Conference is coming up.
yes, we're so excited.
February.
The countdown is coming up. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Right.
Yep. In San Diego. Beautiful San Diego. If it's getting chilly, if fall is coming, if there are pumpkin spice lattes all around you coming up right now, then that means you're in a very cold area that's going to be, snowy and chilly, and you're going to want to come to San Diego for the first part of February. Believe us.
Believe us.
And wear
It's
your
a nice
Bermuda
place to be.
shorts like our Canadian friends that come down to the conference.
We get so many Canadians at the conference. I'm sure it's because of the quality of the instruction that we
Yes.
get there and the sessions and the absolutely important topics. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're in a tundra wasteland in February and they want to be on the water near the bay in San Diego with the conference where you can see the boats.
San Diego's appealing.
It is appealing.
It's a combo. It's a 2-for-1. You get good weather.
is.
You get a great quality conference.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're surrounded by your tribe.
Yeah.
So we're all about farmers markets. We don't do any farming education per se in terms of teaching you how to improve the quality of your soil, although we're all about that. That this is not where you come to really learn that. You come here to learn how to make your display better and how to do professional packaging and how to develop relationships with your customers so that they are rooting for your farm and they would never miss a week coming to buy your produce. And as a market manager, how to deal with employment issues. Actually, anybody in the market, how to deal with employment issues. We have a really cool employment session coming up in this February's conference.
It's going to be like our insurance session last year where it was very interesting and I learned so much. I probably took the most notes at that session, but I left feeling a little depressed.
Actually, it wasn't that one. We actually had the labor session right before the insurance session.
Yeah.
I think everybody wanted to just quit and go be a surfer after that. That was daunting, wasn't it? Okay, We're going to try to mix them up this year and put the really sad and intimidating stuff in between really fun sessions.
You know, but you just have to face it.
You
have to face into that kind of stuff. We are small business people. We're running a business. There are regulations. There's requirements, things like that. So that's what makes it, where our passion comes into play. Because we take all that passion, do all the creative stuff, and then you just really have to do the nuts and bolts. And there's not a lot of places you can go to be with other people that feel your pain
That's true.
about those nuts and bolts. So it's nice to get together. We all kind of, had our coffee break and there was hugs and kind of hand-holding. No, but then we can all kind of laugh about it like, oh, yeah, this is not the best thing about our job, but it's something we have to do, and we're really grateful for being educated on it and having someone speak directly to us as farmers market people. They were talking about, like, be careful with tent legs and, like, dog leashes and, sewer drains and things like that, where it's like other small businesses maybe don't have the same kind of hurdles to jump over, or they have different ones. So it's really talking directly to us, to farmers market people. It's nice to have that.
I mean, there's something special about having it focused on exactly what you need.
Yeah.
And then having people around you that completely understand what your question means when you ask it. And then maybe have some ideas too.
Yeah.
I feel like we learn from the speakers, but also so much from our fellow attendees at our conference. So.
Yeah. Q&A and just, mingling in between sessions, sitting down and chatting at lunch and before and after and stuff. Just really like priceless kind of one-on-one interaction. So
absolutely. Yeah.
So we're excited. We just, I did just talk to someone on the phone a couple days ago asking about getting those early tickets, and he was curious about like what exactly goes on at our conference. So I told him to listen to the podcast where we talk about it, and then on our website to kind of look at our schedule from last year and take a look at, what our speakers look like and topics that we cover to get an idea. So if you are listening and that's what you're interested in, our full schedule isn't posted for the 2020 conference yet because we are always just piecing that together like a little game of Tetris, putting stuff together and puzzling
end of
everything.
September.
Yeah, so we'll have that up soon so you can see that content. But if you're looking like, what is this? If you didn't go last year or you've always kind of wondered about it or you're new to the farmers market scene, this is a great conference to go to if you're brand new because this is really like, this will get you kicked off on the right foot for sure and you can network with other people. You can look at our schedule from last year.
Right.
Yeah, and kind of see what kind of stuff we're talking about because we cover like concepts and have like-minded people and speakers
different
there.
Speakers. We have a few core speakers that come back year after year, but mostly it's different speakers each year. But you'll get an idea of what kind of topics are covered.
Yeah, and I love the speakers that just come and tell their stories.
Yeah.
Brent Preston and people that talk about how they started their farm or their business or how their market started out small and they grew it, and it's just all that feel-good stuff so you won't, won't be too sad for go from the insurance session to that session. Everyone feels good.
Exactly.
We're learning stuff.
We actually have a cool session this coming year on when you talk about growing a small farmer's market, how to kind of right-size your market, because not every market has to be enormous.
Exactly.
Sometimes kind of smaller markets, small to mid-sized markets are perfect for your area. So we're going to focus a little bit on that this year too. So
Absolutely.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Can't say who the speakers are yet, but coming soon. We just signed up a couple this morning. Just got confirmation that we're really excited about. So
I'm so excited.
Upcoming episode, we'll have that.
Yep.
Super early bird's gone, but early bird tickets are on sale now. So that's still kind of a big savings.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to get those early tickets.
Yep.
It's a good time to get them. All right. Well, we're going to do a little wrap-up question.
Our question of the week?
Yeah, our question of the week. What are you looking forward to learning this year? Either at Catt's a conference junkie. I know we talked about it before. She's like such a weirdo. She goes to a conference like every other week. Not a weirdo, a vivacious appetite for learning.
I do have a big appetite for learning. I was actually going to post something the other day and say, Is there a job where your job duty is going to conferences all year? Because that's where I'm going to aim my career next, my next evolution.
That's like your dream job.
It is
I
my
feel
dream
like
job.
Yes. Either if you're not going to become a librarian, you need to go be this conference junkie. Because my sister and I, if you're new to listening, Kat's my mom, and my sister and I call our mom like humans encyclopedia with like literally any question we ever have. We're like, well, let's just ask mom, like any topic. So because I feel like because you're always going to conferences and reading every single thing that has ever been written.
That's right.
Under the sun.
Because I'm a quidnunc.
Yeah. Yes, you are a quidnunc.
Look that up. You can either call me and ask me what that means if you're Bridget or Gina, or you can Google that. Look it up. I'm a quidnunc.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
I
right.
like it. I think my son is really related
Yes.
to you and is very much going in that direction. So.
I've got at least one quidnunc grandchild, maybe a couple. What do I want to learn this year?
Yeah.
Gosh, so many things. I'm actually totally unrelated to farmers markets and conferences and things. I'm on a little bit of an art kick right now. I'm feeling the visual arts.
Love it.
So, I'm doing that. I'm obviously going to be chasing down farmers market information and business information, as I always am. Things on writing, because, that book's in the works.
Yeah.
But one of the things I want to learn this year is I want to get back into Spanish. I knew some Spanish when I was younger. I've forgotten most of it. Yeah. We're in the Southwest, spending a little time in Mexico, got our Century Pass. So I'm going to be working on taking an organized approach to bringing Spanish back for myself this year to Spanish class, and a little online, maybe a little in person.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Spanish is handy.
I thought this question was going to be farmers market related.
Oh,
but no,
farmers
I think
market
that's better.
related. What do I want to learn about farmers markets this year? Let me think. Regulations, all that stuff. I spend so much time teaching it. What do I want to learn the most? I think I want to learn a little bit more about digging deeper into some of the social media analysis. So I don't really use the tools that I could be using in terms of Instagram and Facebook and all those things on sort of analyzing what kind of return on investment we're getting for what we're putting into that. So I think we've got a podcast person coming up that's going to help us with that. And of course, we always do that stuff at the conference, and I'll be looking for some other sources. So yes, farmers market side, kind of digging deep into the data of marketing, maybe.
I like that.
That's
I
very
was just
wonky, isn't it? Doesn't Spanish sound like more fun?
Yes, but both equally important.
Exactly.
Just like the sessions of the conference.
Exactly.
I was just going to look up this podcast that I was listening to this morning, but I'll save it for when we talk to our friend in Nova Scotia and where our topic is social media, because I'm listening to a social media podcast. It's just about general social media, and she was talking about Instagram stories, and I got some really great ideas. So sorry, everyone, not to be like the evening news, but tune in next time because I'll talk about that. But it was very interesting, and how to use Instagram stories, because that's something I'm kind of focusing on right now. So, okay, learning-wise, I think non-farmers market related, I am really interested in learning how to be a runner. I'm getting back into like an exercise kick, and I really love running because it like clears your mind. But there's like a right way, not a right way, but there's a better for your body way to run than others. And I'm not talking about like, I don't think I'm going to be a fast runner, like I don't think that's in the cards for me, but I want to run like have endurance and not like bust up my knees, because every time I run, my knees start to hurt a lot. Mm-hmm. So I'm learning that. I've been reading lots of like runners articles.
It's not because you're getting old.
Nope. Who's getting old here? Nobody. But I see old people running all the time. My friend's dad, who's like 90, just ran from coast to coast or something. Yeah. It was a crazy, like from one ocean to the other in the United States.
Really?
Like Forrest Gump.
That's impressive.
Nuts. Oh, so impressive. And he's like super old.
Your grandpa was a track coach for so long.
My dad, I always tell my dad, I joke around that he's going to push me around in my wheelchair when I'm older because he is never going anywhere. He's so fit. So
learning to run, that's good. Yeah, it gives you so much energy.
And it just really clears my mind. So we're just really busy at the market. I'm always doing 20 things at once. And when I run, it really that's a little self-care thing for me when I exercise and run. And always done a lot of yoga, but I think running is like, I can clear my head, and then I get good ideas when I'm running, and I can just really relax. You can't do anything else. You can't look on Facebook. You can't do all these distractions.
No scrolling while running. I think that's maybe one of the first lessons. Do not scroll while running.
I think I need to remember that. That could be painful if I do that, especially with the sidewalks in San Diego. A little bumpy. Yeah. And then farmers market wise, I am just really looking for any and all tools to streamline and make our systems more efficient. I think I came back to our markets this year at the beginning of the year and started working on like a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like setting the markets up and like counting and doing maps and doing rosters and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to adjust those systems so they work really efficiently. So I like talking to other market managers because they'll be like, oh yeah, this is how I do my map. And I'm like, what? That would save me so much time, because it's not, where are you going to get that information?
Right.
There's not like a handbook there's probably some kind of handbook, but it's just nice to always be fine tuning that system and find something that works for you so that you can spend the least amount of time doing all that boring crap, like counting EBT vouchers in and out. Oh my God, I'm going to die if I have to count one or more of those. But just finding a system that works better and just making that efficient and accurate so that I'm not having little mistakes. I'm not having to go back and find stuff. And then I can work on all the creative stuff that I love, like the social media stuff and nurturing and incubating those new businesses at our markets. That's where I find my joy, and my job is doing that and connecting with shoppers. That's what I love about the farmers market. And so if I'm doing paperwork, I can't do that.
Right. Yeah, that's a good goal.
Yeah.
I like that. You've actually streamlined a few things just since you've been back. So, yeah.
Cat loves my color coding on my Excel sheets.
That's right. Easter eggy.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you have comments or thoughts are popping into your head right now, if you're listening to us while you're on your run, don't stop and use your phone to email us right now. But when you get back home, maybe send us some ideas like, what are you interested in learning this year for your markets? Or otherwise, tell us what kind of fun thing, or if you want to learn Spanish or French, or what are you up to? We like to hear that. So you can always email us through our website or direct messages on our Instagram. That's always a good, easy way to get in touch with us. Our Instagram is Farmers Market Pros. So, yeah, that was great. All right, education it up. Looking forward to hearing feedback on all those conferences as well. All right, well, thanks for listening today, everyone. Please leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, podcast app on your Android, wherever you listen to this podcast. It just helps us kind of get bumped up in the old algorithm so other people can find us. Because I'm sure people don't know that there's a podcast just for them and a conference. So tell us how you like today's episode, how you like the podcast in general. Rate us on there, and then be sure to subscribe to our podcast. So then you'll get a little bing alert when we have a new episode every week. You don't want to miss the next one. And if you want more farmers market tips, tricks, and information, you can subscribe to our weekly newsletter at farmersmarketpros.com. And make sure that you're following us on Instagram at Farmers Market Pros. We're also on Facebook, Farmers Market Pros. So watch for upcoming Intense, the Farmers Market Pros events, both live and online, education programs online and such coming out soon. And take advantage of our early bird tickets for the 2020 Intense, the Farmers Market Conference right now. This very day, go online, get those tickets. Regular price is $355 for the conference, but early bird is $235, so that's a huge savings. You save over $100 by planning ahead and getting your ticket now. Maybe that can be something that you learn how to do this year. Plan ahead.
Plan ahead. Yeah. Everything's cheaper when you plan ahead.
Oh, isn't it? Three's Company tickets are even better, or an even better deal, so we'd love to see you there. That means you and two of your staffers or market manager friends, farmer friends, food maker friends. If you guys buy your tickets 3 at a time, it's a good deal. And we're really excited to see all of you guys there, so hopefully you guys get those tickets. This podcast is produced by the Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Today's episode was recorded by Adam Samaha and edited by Justine Marzoni Mead. Original music by David Mead.